Darling, you've got to let me know. Should I stay or should I go? If you say that you'll be mine, I'll be there till the end of time. So come on and let me know.
Should I stay or should I go?
You can go.
Okay.
Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If we go, there will be trouble. If we stay, there will be double. So come on and let me know. This indecision's killing me.
Esta indecisión me molesta.
If you don't want me, set me free.
Si no me quieres, líbrame.
Exactly who I'm supposed to be.
Dígame, ¿quién tengo ser?
Not even sure which clothes still fit me.
¿Sabes qué ropa me queda?
So come on and let me know.
Y ya me tienes que decir.
Should I stay or should I go? All right, welcome everybody, and it's our British Invasion Day on the grid, and we've got a couple of British guys, starting with all the way from Leeds, Mr. RC Concepcion.
Hello. Hello. That's about as much as I got. I'm sorry.
No, but we have actually with us today as our guests on the grid. Of course, we do have RC, my co-host, as always.
What's going on, everybody?
And we have got two of the most creative, most talented, most cool guys in the entire UK. I don't know if you've ever looked. There's a ton of people in the UK, but these are two of our very favorite ones. We have to my right, Mr. Glyn Dewis.
Hello there.
Photographer, retoucher, love machine.
Wow.
And next to him, secret lover to Lady Camilla Bowles. This could get him deported, but we're saying it here for the first time ever. The amazing Dave Clayton.
Whoa.
Thank you.
Designer.
Bonjour, monsieur.
You've been featured on Photoshop User Magazine.
Yep.
And you were and you're best probably known as the Napa evangelist to our audience.
Yep, 5 years now.
Yeah, and now you're the KelbyOne evangelist.
I am.
And you're often nude from the waist down.
Many times.
Many
Including now.
times.
Today is.
Today he is. Well, of course. That's the weird thing about this show that we don't like to talk about. But we're glad to have you guys here today. And I think, RC, we should start off by being straight with them about something. We have no topic for today.
We absolutely do not.
We
have
don't.
a
So I was doing a Periscope little broadcast right before we went on the air, and our director, our show director, Meredith, says, "Do you have the outline for the show?" Which I was supposed to have turned in hours ago, and I went, "Oh, I never made one." And so it's a busy day.
Yes.
We were doing a lot of stuff today. Now, some of the stuff that we're doing is so awesome that we can't tell you anything other than tomorrow we're doing a special episode of The Grid. And we can't say what it's about.
I wouldn't.
I wouldn't. But tomorrow,
You're going to want to see it.
You're going to want to see
You're
it.
going to want to see it. It's
Tomorrow,
pretty cool.
something's happening, and we're doing a show about it.
Yep. Yeah, absolutely. So I'm really excited about it. I think it's pretty good. Hey, Mitch Pick says Dave has the best business card ever.
True. Snappily Pro. Best cards.
Really?
I've got the best logo.
Really?
Yeah.
Your
He's got
logo
the
was
best
designed by Dave. You know why? Because
Genius.
we've done some research. There are actually only two people in the UK. Just these two guys. He does photography. He does the logos. That's it. That's the entire creative force.
We've got it sussed.
And he bullies me.
He does bully you.
He bullies
Me into doing work for him. I don't get paid.
Well, he's got very big arms. So, hey, so those of you, we want to introduce you to Glyn. I know a lot of you already know him because of his classes here on KelbyOne, because he teaches at on online classes. You were here taping more classes.
Yeah, we've got two classes. All day Monday out on location, and then yesterday we're filming the retouching part of that as well, yeah.
Very good. You're pretty good at retouching. You could teach it like for a living.
I did think about it.
You do workshops. You were in the UK speaking at the same, in Amsterdam last week.
Yeah.
At the same event that I was at, you were there. Dave was not there.
No. Wasn't allowed out of the country.
Yeah, that's a visa issue,
Yeah,
right?
there's a thing.
Was it Charles himself that said you couldn't go?
Yeah.
Terrorism.
No.
Or can't talk
Don't
about
exhale like that next to me and say no.
Hey, so Ramp Media says give away the guitar. No, but we're going to give away the very next best thing. My Union, can we get a close-up? My Union flag pick. So
Nice.
in honor of, there it is, we're going to give away my Union flag. It's not the Union Jack, is it, Dave?
No, it's the Union flag unless it's upon a ship.
Unless it's upon a ship, then it becomes the Union Jack.
Upon a what?
A ship.
Ship.
Oh, okay. I ship my drawers.
I ship my pants. And today we'll ship this pic to you. Anyway.
Wow.
Is this QVC?
Wow. Can you tell we don't have an outline? We're like stalling. Anyway, we are going to take your questions during the show. The first one's come in here from Brown Eyes 475. I'm afraid to read this one on the air, but the jib is in the way, so I can't really say what it says.
Right.
When you can add some
There goes Arnaldo.
reload.
Oh, there we go. When are you going to add some more dates to your Shoot Like a Pro? I think they added them today.
It's on the website.
Is it on the
Yeah,
website? Yeah, we added a whole bunch of new cities to my new Shoot Like a Pro Reloaded tour.
Going to check, going to check, going to check.
RC's going to go check. I think it was today. Well, if it's not on the site, I can kind of tell you because I got a list in the mail yesterday. But I know it's going to a lot of cool places. But I'm going to be in Salt Lake City Monday.
El lunes?
See? On where? Los Angeles. On Wednesday.
Oh, wow.
Is
That's
that,
a lot
oh,
of
look,
tour
there's
Is that London, UK on July the 14th?
Yes, that is London.
those
Yeah,
all-
I'm going to be
are
in
those
London on
all your
July the
dates?
14th.
Are those all your dates?
Those are all mine, yeah. Wow. I got some more coming, I think, but there's
pretty
where I'm
cool.
going to be in Salt Lake and Phoenix coming up. No, Salt Lake like Monday,
El
Los
lunes.
Angeles Wednesday,
El miércoles.
and this is all new tours for people who went to the first tour and anybody else that wants to come, of
Todo
course.
eso nuevo para todas las personas que no han
Sí.
venido.
Sí, gracias.
Oh, nice.
Anyway,
Indeed.
No, somebody just sent a message over on somebody just sent a message over on the chat, and they were just like, "Wow, pretty good Spanish." RC, and I'm like,
yeah, from being from Leeds, his Spanish is
right.
pretty good.
I'm like, I should hope so.
Yeah,
Hey up, lad.
he's
No, I don't think they meant it badly. It was just they were just like good Spanish, and I'm like, I was born bilingual. Like I was born with both. Like I speak both English and Spanish. The
I'm
only-
not sure how well his English is though.
It's pretty good.
It's getting better.
He's very happy
It's
to be
mejor.
here.
All right. So anyway,
Very happy to be here playing for you in this
I
country.
think what we're going to do is I think we should regroup. Is what we. This whole day we have so much going on here right now. It's good. It's all good. There's so many cool things going on right now. It's a very exciting time to be here at KelbyOne.
It's very
but
nice.
It's a very hard time to do anything like answer email or go to the restroom, have lunch.
Do the grid. It's so hard. We do okay.
Anyway, but we have some giveaways today. One thing we're giving away today, a signed copy of the hottest Photoshop book of the year, which makes me feel bad because I did one this year too, and it's not mine. This is Glenn's book, the Photoshop Workbook. This book is badass. I'm sorry, I know it's kind of a cuss word, but this book is phenomenal. Go if you don't win it, and there's only one of you are going to, so sorry. But if you don't win it today, and we're gonna get him to sign it while he's right here. If you don't win it, go buy it. This is a phenomenal book. We're giving this away. We're also going to be giving away a copy of Jay Mazel's brand new book. Now, he came out with a book earlier this year, Light, Gesture, and Color. This is his brand new book. It's called About the F-Stop. We're giving that away. We're giving away a 1964 British Invasion pick. And what else we got? Oh, we're going to give away a ticket to either one of my tours. If you are in Salt Lake City or Los Angeles and you'd like to come, when we do the giveaways later, we'll tell you how to enter, and you can see if you can win one of those.
Cool. Why don't we do this? Why don't we say,
Wait, RC, you got anything to give away, bro?
I can give away a
Didn't
copy.
you just do a new book?
No.
No? Are you sure?
I have the second edition of the HDR book.
That's the one.
I've got it. Yeah. Well,
That's what
I mean,
I'm
I have
talking
the HDR book. I'd be more than happy to give that away.
Well, could we?
It'd be good. Yes, we could.
And
Yes,
we're
we
giving you a
could.
copy of the book on HDR.
Oh,
the bottom line.
Oh, stop it.
It is, and you know it is.
I haven't got a book.
You don't have
I
one?
haven't got
Yes.
a book. No.
Do you have this one?
Did you bring a
cover.
checkbook?
You did a book cover.
Is your money good here? We're not taking pounds, bro.
I've got the colouring in book they give you at TGI Fridays.
Oh, did you go to TGI Fridays? How'd you like that?
It was all right.
Did you
it's
have a
like
French onion
Friday
soup?
every day there, though, isn't it?
It is like Friday every day. Did
What'd
you
you
go to
have?
Fridays? How'd you like it?
Like it. Like
Thank
a
you.
lot.
That's a much better answer than it's all right.
Yeah.
You know, if I go to eat at a restaurant, can I say something?
Big stuff.
If I go to a restaurant in the UK and I'm being interviewed on a UK show and they say, hey, how was Garfunkel's? What do you think I'm going to say? Oh, it's okay. I'm going to go,
Yeah.
I got to tell you, Garfunkel's was delicious. Let's try that again. And how was TGI Fridays?
It was delicious.
Thank you. Freaking.
The large portions of food
Yeah.
that's
Here,
over
stealing American
sodium.
jobs. You can't even fake that TGI Fridays is good. Fridays is good. Their blue cheese dressing is delicious. All right, Jim Kearns. Guys, if you could give your younger self advice in photography,
That's a great
what
question.
would it be? We're going to tackle that right after this break where I can put my guitar down. Hey, look, can we take us out with the chorus to Should I Stay or Should I Go? See, you can sing along. You can share his mic.
In Spanish?
No.
Okay. Wow, that's so okay.
Wait, let's do Jesse's Girl. No, here we go. What was it? What's the song? Should I stay? Should I stay or should I go now? Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be.
Oh, wait. Greg, do you see that?
Yeah, Bryn. What tracks are those?
I don't know.
These look like moose tracks.
Moose. In Africa.
Station says fresh tracks of a moose heading east from First Avenue Piccadilly towards Fred Street.
Greg, keep a lookout for fresh scat out here.
Bryn, I don't know what moose scat looks like. Station tracks of the moose look to head east. Brendan, look.
Moose is in Africa.
I'm Cliff Mountner. I've always envisioned taking KelbyOne for an inside look at how I approach a real wedding. This is authentic. This is an actual client that has allowed me to capture their day and bring KelbyOne along. You're gonna see how I approach every element of the day. We're talking about an overall view at my approach. I really hope you take a moment to check out my brand new classes, A Real Wedding, live and uncensored, only on KelbyOne.com.
Hey, we're back. Scott Kelby here with RC.
What's going on, everybody?
Our special guest, Glyn Dewis.
Hello, everybody.
Dave Clayton.
Howdy.
And speaking of special, can we just take a moment to visit a very special man on a very special set lit with very special light? Brado!
How's it going?
Woo! How you doing?
I'm
Brad,
doing
it's so
fine.
crowded we miss you over here. It would be awesome if you could come over here and be 5 in a set built for 3.
I'm claustrophobic. I'm good over here.
How you doing, Brado?
I'm quite well.
How are things in Brad world?
They're good.
You've had a busy week, right?
Sure.
Do you ever have a busy week?
Next week will be a fun, busy week.
Yeah, Brad's really here for eye candy. I'm just going to be straight up.
I'd like to take his lower thirds and call it Brad Tinder Moore.
Oh, hey, what is your handle on Tinder? Is Stud Muffin 36, is it?
As always, I'm not
Captain
going
Sexy Beard.
to dignify this with a response.
Captain Sexy Beard.
So you neither confirm nor deny is what you're saying.
That is exactly what I'm
Oh,
saying.
look at this. Fran Hughes says, oh, Brad is so cute. Look at his face.
Oh,
She
he
just-
is.
Saka.
Who's your good
She said,
Brad?
she said, like
We lost him. We lost him. He's gone.
she said, you look like a bacon and a sandwich. You look good.
What'd she say?
She didn't say that.
Oh, I was like, whoa,
I was just making it
whoa.
up. I'm sorry.
Okay, Brad's back. We chased him off the set. All right. Hey, before we get to, we actually have a semi-topic here. Thank you, Jim Kearns. You've kind of given us a topic, but RC's going to find a way to stretch it to an hour. Alan Hess asked first. This is a question from Alan Hess, a random viewer who we've never met.
Hi,
Alan Hess asks, who designed that great cover for Glyn's book?
Well, I did.
Did you?
I did. And it was a nice surprise because
You like to do drawings?
I like to do drawings. I love crayons. At work, I'm called the Crayon Monkey.
Are you?
I sit in the corner with a big iMac and a box of crayons, and that's all they call me all day.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's
Work,
pretty good.
Crayon Monkey. Yeah, we...
Dance, Crayon Monkey, dance. Stuff like that.
But that's pretty cool, man. You designed his cover. I didn't know that.
Well, you're good. He also, can we show Glyn's logo? You designed Glyn's official logo here. Can we see it over here? You need to go to like control room something. I don't know. Go to the next one over there. Go to control room. I don't know. Try
Control room
3.
three, there we
See
go.
it, you know, she's very cool. Whatever control room you go to, There we go.
I love that. It's just
Isn't that a great
brilliant.
one?
It's such a great logo.
And for those who still can't work it out, that is a G and a D. Now, Glyn did have a full head of hair, but the logo worked without hair, so I made him shave.
Okay.
So
All right. Can I say something? I've seen this logo for a couple of years. This is the latest iteration of it, but I don't. You're going to think I'm so stupid. I never knew there was a G and a D.
Really?
I just thought it looked like Glyn.
I thought it looked like something else.
Genius behind
I am
it.
just.
That's why I'm a genius.
That is why you're a genius. I can't believe I
Did you
didn't.
know there's an arrow on the FedEx logo?
That's what I was
I
going to
knew
say.
there was an edX on the
FedEx arrow,
A G and a
Starbucks
D.
lady serving coffee,
Yeah.
G and the D.
She's serving
There you go.
coffee.
I'm just saying.
I got to start looking at these things closer. But now that I see it, I'm like, oh yeah, that's really clever.
Actually, she's not really serving coffee. I'm just practicing a technique. If I see something with conviction,
You believe it.
I believe
believe
it.
it.
She's not serving
No,
coffee.
she's not serving
Oh,
it.
thank
I don't know
God.
what she is.
Okay, there she is. That's
going-
Brad just found her, and
she's actually
not-
doing this. She's going, what? Look at this coffee. That's what she's doing.
That's not what she's doing.
Anyway, listen. So Jim Kearns had a question, and I think it's probably a good time.
Hold
for
on,
us to
Brad.
kinda-
Brad, yes.
Actually, I think she's doing this.
Wait, hold on. Let's go see Brad.
Starbucks.
I think she's doing this.
Who knows if it's
Oh,
actually
yeah,
fair
who
trade?
knows?
Who knows if we're paying tax in the UK?
Got it. Political.
Boom. Political.
Legal.
All right, so
Anyway.
Jim Kearns asked, guys, if you could give your younger self advice in photography, what would it be? We're going to start with our guest from the UK, or just UC. No one calls it UC, do they?
No, they do not. No.
Auckland, isn't that it?
Auckland, in Aucklandshire.
Aucklandshire. All right.
Okay, so what would I do differently? Well, I always say to people that I got into business too quickly. I started the photography side of it, and things really did happen very quick. I actually started off on the retouching side of it first. And no sooner had I started that, I started getting other people sending me work. That work was kind of interesting, so I decided to get my own camera. And then it just kind of kicked off. I started getting people asking me to do work for them. So the more work that came in, I then thought I'd better register this as a business before people kind of sort of grasped me up for, earning money and not claiming it, or sort of saying that I was earning money. So I actually registered a business, and then it became serious. So the enjoyment that I originally had when I first started it quickly kind of like dissipated, because I was then having to think about getting clients, running accounts, and I still didn't have a style, still didn't really know what I was doing. So the whole fun of it went. So eventually I had to kind of like stop doing the business for a while, reset, and then start enjoying it. So my advice would be, just if you're starting photography, just stay enjoying it for as long as you can. I'm not saying you don't enjoy business, but get to know who you are, what you do, and everything before you even consider getting into business.
That's good advice.
That is pretty good advice.
Dave, your advice.
As a professional photographer myself.
Okay, you are a professional graphic designer.
Yeah.
A professional creative.
You're a creative person, though. You're very creative
Yeah.
in many ways.
You are really
But
good.
We did a Periscope earlier, and I was saying that I love photography, and I love photography books, and I admire photographers in the same way I admire a sports team. So I don't feel compelled to be a photographer, but I can just love photography. So if I was giving myself advice younger, I would be perhaps put a bit more effort into photography, but every time I pick my camera up, I put it down and I go back to Photoshop and create. So maybe tell myself to commit a bit more. Join NAP earlier, that would have helped.
Yeah. I have a question for you. Is your team, are they in the Premier League?
They are,
Okay.
yeah,
Whew, that was a close one.
but near the bottom.
They're near the bottom? It's okay. What kind of year of the season are they going to have?
We're going to go down, probably. So
What?
Thanks for bringing that up.
You're going to leave the Premier League?
Yeah.
You're going to fall out?
It looks like it.
Oh. I don't know if you guys that follow international football. There's American football, and then the rest of the world plays football. If in the UK, which I think this is surprisingly interesting, has nothing to do with design or photography, but your team has to have a certain number of wins and be a certain quality to get into the. We do that with stocks in the United States. You have to have a very good company and make a lot of money to be on the New York Stock Exchange. You guys do it with sports.
We do, but the problem with my team is we spent so much money that when we go down, there's a thing called financial fair play, which means because we've spent too much, the Premier League are owned by the FA, the division below is owned by a different association, and because there's rules there, when we get relegated, we'll get fined about £50 million for overspending.
Wow.
Now, 15 million pounds, I don't know if you know this.
50.
Oh, 50 million pounds. 50 million pounds in American dollars is $645.
Yes,
Something like that.
And,
So
and some loose
it
change.
sounds bad, but it's really okay. RC, what would the advice you give to the younger you about photography?
I think the one piece of advice is, I think that what I would tell people, what I would tell myself younger, is not to stress about having to find the picture. And I think that that's probably over the last 2 years, it's probably been the biggest revelation for me. When you walk into a spot, I see a lot of people doing it, and I know that I did it a lot. When you walk into a spot and you walk into a room, it's just like, it's here. The picture's here. The picture's here. I just got to be able to make it. I got to be able to work with it. I got to make it. I got to make it. And I think that you could be a much better photographer if you can walk into a scenario and go, you know what? There wasn't a picture, or I didn't make a picture, and it's okay. I think that we put an unnecessary amount of stress on ourselves as photographers to make a picture, and I think you should have good craft work, you should go look for it, but you shouldn't kill yourself if you didn't find it. It's a lot like, I see photography a lot like fishing. You go out and you go fish, and sometimes you get it and sometimes you don't get it. You come back with a good story, and that's all well and good, but it stresses people out. I think it stresses people out very unnecessarily, and I think...
Well, I think when you invest your time, you know, and you think, well, I'm going to do 2 hours for a shoot and come away with nothing. I've had it happen. I've had times where I've invested time and money, and we've hired hair and makeup, or and you just come back with kind of nothing. You really feel like you failed. You feel like, especially if you've invested, it's bad enough if you invest time, but if you invest time and money and just have a shoot go bust, it's...
Yeah, but going on for that, that's exactly what would happen to me when I first started out, that I would want to, you know, you had your full-time job at the time and you say, right, I haven't had my camera out for a while, next Saturday I'm going to have a photo shoot, and I'd probably plan it a little bit. When it came to the photo shoot, within 15 minutes I'd dry up, I didn't know what I wanted. So all that excitement, I was just like gone, didn't get results. And I know we talked about this before with other people on the grid and that, but that's when the personal projects, the self-assignment, made a massive difference to me, because then I started treating it as if I was being hired for a job. And all the focus went into that shoot, and I only went to get one picture. I used to try and go, when I had the camera out, I'd say, right, I'll go to the studio, we're going to get loads of pictures, we're going to have a great day, I'll give you a disc, as we did then, give you a disc with all the pictures on. But now it's a case, and it has been for a while, no, we're going to work on this picture. This is what we're going to work on. And the great thing is, the minute you nail that shot, you get more anyway. But I used to kind of, I always used to, my times when I had the camera out, when I was, you know, I had a day off, I'd get my camera out, I never got the results I wanted until I started doing personal projects and treating them with that kind of seriousness.
Well, you know what's nice about that, it kind of plays into what he said, is it takes the stress off. You knew that you were doing it for you, but you had a plan. And so even if you came out at the end of the day with nothing, at least you know it wouldn't be because you didn't have a plan. And so RCs, though, and I agree, because you can really get stressed out, especially if you're spending money thinking, I got to make something happen here. Now, if it's for a client, you got to make something happen there.
Yeah.
That's differently, but it's the pressure we put on ourselves.
Yeah, like a client won't accept that, but but a lot of the times I think when you need to grow as a photographer, I think that one of the biggest problems that people have is that they don't understand that sometimes it's okay to walk away and not get it, right? I think probably one of the other biggest things that kind of sits in parallel with that is that photography is a lot less about the process and more about the execution. Right. So what happens is we get focused on like buttons and dials and switches and things like that, and which ones do we put? You're supposed to learn that, but at the end of the day, what happens in photography is you stop looking like Scott. I see you do it all the time. Like when Scott thinks about an idea or Scott works on something, he's like, I want to shoot this person in this location with this light, having this mood, having this kind of thing, and this is this one style. And then he brings all of the experience and technical and shooting and process, all of that to bear on that one target. Photography is about setting that target and then hitting that target. And when you're missing, going, all right, I missed the target. But people don't see that. People see that as like, where is it? What am I looking for? How am I working? How we're doing this?
Yeah,
and it just freaks people out.
It puts a lot of stress on you.
So those kinds of things I think are important.
You've got to take the stress out of it. You've got to have fun. There's two guys back in the UK, friends of mine, Lee and JJ, and we've started getting together maybe once every 6 weeks. And all we'll do is say, let's get together for 4 hours. We've got no real agenda, but let's tell you what, let's just try out with 2 lights. Let's go out to that field there, bring along somebody, and we'll just see what we can do. And we both say, right, why don't we say we're trying to shoot for, I don't know, a pretend album cover with this guy. Let's try and pretend to make a photograph an album cover. And we just go out for like 4 hours, experimenting, helping each other, playing around. What does that do? What will that do if we do that? We just have fun for it. And it isn't to produce a final image, it's just to get out, have fun, which is why we got involved in this in the first place. And if we get a result, it's a bonus. But if not, we had fun anyway.
I've done that same thing with travel. when sometimes I'll be in a city and I'm like, I'm not getting anything. And then I go, okay, all right, let's just, and I've talked to my wife about this, where I'm like, I'm not getting anything. So I'm gonna pretend I'm on assignment for a travel magazine. What would I show? What would I do? If I had to show up with, you know, here's 100 images to choose from, what kind of stuff would say this is blank, this city? And just even having that in your mind, all of a sudden you go, okay, well, we're in Ireland. What kind of stuff would say to me if I was writing for a travel magazine, this is Ireland? Well, the first thing I'd think of is the people, because Irish people are awesome. And then I would think of Irish people drinking beer. And then I would think of a soccer brawl. And then, no, I'm just kidding. All right, no, totally kidding. Hey, we're getting all kinds of questions come in. And
no, but wait, before we do that,
yeah?
What would you tell yourself?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Can I tell myself 2 things?
Sure.
Because I would go back and go, hey, here's 2 things. Number 1 is I would have really focused on learning lighting a lot earlier. I would have focused on, I mean, it was Joe McNally's wife, Ann Cahill, that first showed me how to turn on a flash. She showed me, here's how to use a wireless flash. So I wish that I had really learned that, because I'd used hot lights before. And so I wasn't familiar with flash, you know, for a long time. I would tell the earlier me, dude, you better learn light and you better learn it good, because once you get the lighting down, then you can focus on what matters. Then the lighting becomes secondary. I would say, learn the lighting while you're young, really get to understand it, and then you don't have to worry about it anymore. You won't spend years of your life worrying about lighting when you should be worrying about something else, which is your subject. We spend so much time worried about that, which leads me to my second thing I would tell myself is, I was talking with another photographer, a very, very famous photographer who has unbelievable shots. He showed me all these shots and said every one of these was taken in program mode. I didn't know anything else. I was new to photography. The shots are absolutely amazing. I'm like, and I think that there's a real lesson in there. And I talked about this on my old tour, which was about, you know what? Today's cameras pretty much do it all for you. You can shoot on program mode and get absolutely amazing photos, right? But we're all focused. I would tell on the settings and on the gear, I would tell my old self, just forget about that stuff. Don't even worry about it. Let the camera take care of all that stuff. Worry about making really interesting pictures, showing interesting people, going to interesting places and all. Nobody looks at those and goes, oh, what beautiful settings. Your settings are fantastic. What great settings. The settings are almost irrelevant. It's everything else besides that. The settings are, it's just like, if you see a guy win a race, like he wins an Indy race or a Formula One race, at the end they don't go, now what gear were you in? Now at what point did you shift from 3rd to 4th? It's irrelevant. It's not what the race is about. It's not what, the settings in our camera and the menus and the knobs and all that stuff isn't what the race is about.
But that's the part that I think that messes people up, because what happens is, and this is just my opinion, so please no hate mail about it, but I think what happens with that is you'll show people, like there was a person who was arguing with me about the shot that I did of the Burj Khalifa, right? And he was just like, well, what aperture did you do? What shutter speed did you do?
Who cares?
What kind of things did you do? Did you find edge vignetting? Did you find this kind of sharpening? I was like, dude, I thought it was all great. It worked fine. And he's like, but did you measure? Did you measure? Did you work? Did you press the button? Did you do this? And I'm like, chill out. I didn't really think about any of that.
Just trying to make a good shot.
I was just like, I just was there and I took the picture. And I think that what happens with people is people need that kind of, people look for all of those external things to be, was this a possible solution? Because those external things then are something to blame when they make a crappy shot. And it's like, what happens is, it's not me, it's not my inner eye, it's not what I need to be able to do.
Right.
I didn't know the right number, I didn't know the right this, I didn't know the right that. And it's almost kind of like, let me just blame the fact that I don't have a lens, or that I don't have a button, or that I don't have something, on the fact that I don't know how to be able to do it. And that when I talk to somebody, and that's a pro, or talk to somebody who's making great pictures, and they go, I don't know, it felt right. It's like, you're like, tell me, just tell me what it is. And people will do that, and they can't accept that answer. They can't accept that the answer is inside of you. They can't accept that you have to suck before you get better. You have to, crawl before you walk. And that goes back to that kind of don't stress about it. It's like, you're on the road, that's a good place for you to be.
As long as you're on the road.
As long as you're on the road.
As long as you always shoot raw.
And shoot raw.
Thanks,
Just
bro.
shoot raw, baby.
Hey, Dave, you've seen this show many times.
I have.
I've seen you in the forums and stuff and all. So can you take us to break?
And it's time for a break because we get angry if we don't get tea and biscuits.
But you got to take us all the way to break.
Oh, let's go to the break then.
So.
We'll be right back.
There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's what I'm talking about.
Hi everybody, Scott Kelby here. I want to tell you about my brand new full-day seminar. It's called Shoot Like a Pro Reloaded, and it picks up right where the last seminar tour left off. It's that next level of stuff. The first class is called The Secret Sauce. You got this nice camera, you have some really nice lenses, but you're still not getting the kind of shots you want. It's because you gotta know the secret sauce. Number 2, the second class of the day is called My 7-Point System for Lightroom, or if you use Camera Raw, it's for that. And you're gonna learn the 7 things you need to know. Once you know those 7 things, it's gonna change the way you work in Lightroom or Camera Raw forever. Third class of the day is called Really Great Lighting on a Really Tight Budget. And we show you how to do that next level of lighting, but we keep it simple and we keep it inexpensive. The next class is called The Stuff That Nobody Tells You. And when I did the class for the first time, you know what everybody came up at the end of the day and said? Why doesn't anybody tell us this stuff? So that's what we're gonna do in the 4th class. And we end the day with photo recipes where I go through basically a cookbook of type of images. Here's what the image looks like and here's exactly how to get it. Hope I'll meet you in person on my brand new from scratch tour. It's called Shoot Like a Pro Reloaded.
Hey, we are back. We got some special guests with us from the UK. Glyn Dewis, Dave Clayton, a couple great guys. RC, not so great. Brady, can we go shoot over to Brad? I'm sorry, were you checking your email?
No, I'm doing my job.
Were you though? Were you?
Where is it? Was he?
How many thumbs you got?
Huh?
How many thumbs do you have?
How many phones?
Thumbs.
Thumbs?
There's one. Oh, there we go. So you were doing that. Oh, no.
Who's got 2 thumbs and checking the
Man,
chat?
I tell you what, when you start to
This guy.
explain it like that, it gets really funny. Okay, hey. Boo. All right. Hey, we just want to mention before we get kicked off here, we've got some brand new classes on KelbyOne coming out tomorrow.
The Art of Digital Photography, the inspirational series with Matthew Jordan Smith. Mia McCormick and Matthew Jordan Smith sits down this time to discuss his inspiring career as a commercial photographer. He's known for spectacular beauty, fashion, celebrity photography, and more.
He shoots a lot of celebrities, really good stuff.
Recently, he just did that Future American President book.
Yeah.
So just an inspirational
He's
conversation.
a super nice guy, super good guy, very interesting.
I like Matthew.
You will love his interview, so
absolutely will.
Go check it out. So we've anyway, we always have new classes coming out every week. You know, there was a guy here from the UK taping classes this week.
Yes, that's right. That's where you go, yes?
Yes,
I was.
There you go. That was I was setting you up, dude.
All
right, we have a lot of questions, so we're going to start banging through them here. Lyle, who is, by the way, a very awesome Lightroom shark, and Lyle will drop in on the Lightroom. So RC and I do this site. You guys may know, lightroomkillertips.com. And, you know, we don't get in there. We do a post every day. But a lot of times I don't get in there, you know, I'm so busy during the day, I don't get in there to answer questions. Man, if somebody gets stuck, Lyle is on it. He is like, dude, he is the man. We're very grateful to have people like Lyle who are helping us out there. And luckily he knows just so much about Lightroom that you don't have to worry about him ever saying anything wrong. He always
got it.
Everything I read him, I'm like, oh, that's good. Good answer. Ooh, he's good. Anyway, he asks, what difference do you see from photographers on different sides of the pond in the way they approach things? So how do you see things for UK photographers versus US photographers?
Please hold that for 1 second, because Lyle just finished writing back. He's like, I'm unemployed.
All right, well, there you go. You know, RC, I've been meaning to have a talk with you. You've done a good job here, RC.
Equal opportunity.
For a long time.
Race card.
Okay, boom.
Back to Glyn.
Well, now RC,
pick it up now.
yeah, you should pick this up and answer this question before RC gets me fired.
Apart from the fact that US photographers have pictures with more sun in them, I would literally say nothing to do with actual styles or anything like that. But my only thoughts about the difference between US, if we obviously talk about US and the UK. Dates back to when I first started. I always found that when I first picked up a camera and I wanted to learn, I found that the UK, and this is only personal feeling, the UK seemed very guarded about sharing information. They, you know, I can't possibly tell you how I did this, but that was why I was very much drawn to folks over in the US, because we
don't know any better.
Well,
we'll say whatever.
in all seriousness, I was welcomed with open arms, and it was just share, share, share. It seemed that all the websites I ever looked at that were really pushing stuff out to share were from people in the US. there seemed to be, and I guess it's changing now, but there seemed to be this real kind of cloak and dagger kind of attitude in the UK where I couldn't possibly tell you how I did this. And that's only a personal, you know, a personal kind of feeling, but that's the big difference that I found for me.
Very good.
Yeah, I think I don't like it when photographers think it's all about them and not the image. So it's like music. You know, if I hear a song, I don't really care who it's by. If I love the song, I love the song. It doesn't matter to me that it's the Rolling Stones or wherever. And I find with photography is if I see a great image, it really doesn't matter to me who it is. If it's a great image, it's a great image. And having seen some photographers at events in the UK, they get up on stage and then they spend an hour talking about themselves and how good they are. And it's too self-gratifying for me.
You'll be happy to know that phenomenon does not exist just in the UK. Woo!
Yeah, I mean it's the same on both sides, but that's why I like the American side. It's because the enthusiasm's there and the sharing, and I think it's just maybe a reserved British thing that a lot of people are quite guarded and cynical, and maybe, you know.
Did I tell you I write for a British magazine?
You do. Digital
I write
Camera.
that's right, Digital Camera. I write a monthly column. You know how I got that column?
How did you get that column?
This guy.
That's He's right. the unseen hand.
He is. He's like the guy behind pulling the strings behind the scene. Oh, you want to write for a UK magazine? Dance, puppet dance. Okay, is my column due? You know. All right. Anyway,
Craig. I'm guessing it's Craig McCormick, Shanghai Craig McCormick.
Yeah.
So
who woke up at 3:30 a.m. to watch? Way to go, Craig.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, we do that here.
You don't wake up at 3:30.
That's half 8.
What is something you couldn't live without in your daily life, product or service?
I can show you mine. My phone. Well, not actually my phone. Any kind of tablet device. I rely on them so much. You know what it was? And I used to absolutely hate to wait. Like if I had to go to the driver's license bureau and I had to wait for 45 minutes, you might as well take a drill and put it through my head. Now I can do all kinds of stuff. I can play games. I can read my email. I can go to the web. I can stay up on top of the news. I can do a million things. This is the one that I could do without my laptop quicker than I can do without my phone.
What about you?
Me, pen and paper. Don't need Wi-Fi, don't need batteries. So as long as I can sit and I can create, I don't need electronics to do it. So
okay,
I've always got pens.
Guess what? This is your last time on the grid. Next. Bringing that paper and pen stuff.
I'm old
I'd
school.
say this is gonna sound really bad, but about 5 years ago, I bought an espresso machine. And it was just.
RC, Hansi, and her.
I'm like.
Simultaneously.
This is gonna sound horrible, but it's just I am on a near constant stream of caffeine.
You are.
And it's one of those things where it's like if I don't have a phone, I'm like, all right, what are we thinking about next? What are we thinking about next? What do we got going on next? When I have a computer, then I'm working on the next thing on the phone, or I'm constantly thinking about something.
You're caffeinated.
And it's just a constant stream
You
of
last
caffeine.
about 6 seconds as a Mormon.
Ooh.
All right, listen.
That's
so when I was in, this is no kidding, when I was in Amsterdam last week, Glyn was there. By the way, you're supposed to come shooting with us in Amsterdam, remember?
Yeah, I can't explain that.
So I'm like,
I didn't
hey,
have my camera.
tomorrow night we're gonna go to Amsterdam shooting at night. We're gonna do all this HDR stuff. You wanna go? He's like, yeah, man, I'm in. We all get in the car. I go, wait, we have to wait for Glyn. Glyn's not coming.
I was there. I watched on Periscope.
Did you?
Yeah. It was cold and rainy.
No, I was there.
It was cold and raining. Anyway, but I took a picture. I went to Frank and I stopped at like a Shell station, Royal Dutch Petroleum, and I took a picture of this giant Red Bull display, and I wrote the caption, RC can live here.
Yeah, and that's the thing that I think is messed up. Like that coffee machine was the only that was the when I wrote the Get Your Photography on the Web book, my first check out of it, I was just like, I'm putting my foot down, please, to Jen. And I was like, I'm gonna buy one of these things, and I bought it, and literally we buy coffee 2 to 3 kilos at a time.
Here it is.
And I just took it in for service. It's in a box in the warehouse, and I'm like freaking out because I'm like, it's gonna be gone for like 10 days. What
are you gonna do?
I have no idea. I want this one. I want to get this one so bad.
Oh, that's nice.
I know. The Jura Ina 9 One Touch does cappuccinos, $800 refurbished.
Dude, it's showing beer, though. Is that beer?
No, that's cappuccino. It's luscious, delicious cappuccino.
That looks like beeracino.
Oh, I look at it and
all
I'm
right.
like, yep.
Let's
Anyway,
all right, let's
caffeine, that's it.
Yeah,
Sorry.
All right, Glenn, let's ask you, and please do not answer condoms like you did last time.
Wow.
My wallet. I couldn't live without my wallet.
That's Glenn's last time.
This is tied to that. This is tied to that, isn't it? I knew it. Every time you ask him, his answer is always condoms, no matter what the question is.
No, well, I would have said that, but you've said it, the phones, because that literally is my lifeline. And I got rid of my iPad, and I just use that now all the time. But my wallet.
What's
I forget
in your
my wallet all the time.
You wouldn't get that. It's a stupid television ad from America where they keep asking, "What's in your wallet?" and nobody cares. It's like, I don't want to ask him what's in his wallet, but something apparently important. Let's go through some more questions.
Question. John Wayne.
Burn Eyes 475.
Brown
Eyes asked. Okay, I would like to know how often we go out and shoot something just for fun and not because it's a job. RC.
Not as much as I'd like to. I used to do it about a year ago. About a year ago, I was shooting a lot more, and now it's like, man, if I could just finish this, if I could just finish this, if I could just finish this. So I'd like to shoot more. I did a couple weeks ago, and I was happy about it. Like I was like, yes, we're getting in the car, we're gonna go shoot, and it's gonna be fun, and it's gonna be great. And
now RC is our director of content. He didn't have time to do anything.
No, yeah.
What you wish for.
No, I gotta shoot more. Yeah. I gotta shoot more. It's always great. You feel good when you do.
I was shooting for myself for fun in Amsterdam one night.
By yourself?
All right, wow. Dave, when do you draw? Do you draw things?
I do draw, but I've got a camera. I've got a Nikon D300S.
Nikon. That's pronounced Nikon? Hello?
Or Nikon.
Hello? Nikon.
I watched a Nikon website once, and Nikon called it Nikon. Go figure.
Hey, I'm going to pull up a Nikon website here, and you're going to hear the guy from Nikon say Nikon.
And I'll find you one when I get home, and I'll send it to you when he says Nikon.
Doesn't count.
Yeah. I do take my camera out, and I do try, and I come home and I look at the pictures. In fact, I
mostly pictures for royalty?
Mostly long distance, like 4,000 meters. You know, you'd be surprised what you can get. But where I work, we sponsor a lot of local sports teams, and I got a press pass to shoot Speedway, which is a brilliant sport, and it's the Swindon Robins. And I went out to the middle, I had the vest, I had my camera, I had 7200, f2.8, the official photographers, they're telling me what to do. And I'm panning, I'm shooting, I get home, 350 photographs, the only one in focus was the 4 bikes on the starting line, waiting for the tape to go up. And my boss said to me, all the gear, no idea. And I put my camera back in the bag, and I went home and sobbed over my Photoshop Mac.
I've been to Swindon.
You have?
I have.
That is a horrible story. I want to hug you.
I want to hug you too.
I get the camera out, and I do go out sometimes, and I do take some nice pictures, but I don't share. But I take hugs.
He smells like fish and chips.
You do smell like fish and chips. I swear, I've never smelled anyone that smelled more like fish and chips than Dave just did now. All right, John Wayne, what tips do you have to find your own style, Glenn?
Copy. Absolutely copy everything. There was always this kind of thing that you should never copy. You've got to have your own style, but how on earth do you get a style in the first place?
That's how you come up with your style.
You just find people that you like and you just try and copy it, but you never will copy it. There's a great book, which Austin Kleon. Have you heard of Austin Kleon? It's called Steal Like an Artist. Absolutely superb book. And he basically says in that book, which I highly recommend you get, he basically says just copy. Choose people that you like and copy them, because you never, ever will copy them. Because we're all different life experiences, all different kind of tastes and what
different
kind of
subjects.
So it'll always look different. And as I always say to people, if ever, and you'll find this when you teach an RC and whatever, when you do a workshop and you give people the same file to work on, you say do this, do this, do this, so they're copying you. When you stop to go round to see what they've done, they all look different. So just copy, and eventually one day your own style will kind of stand out.
Robin Thicke wouldn't agree with that.
Hey, neither would, what's his name? Who just, Tom Petty wrote a song. What was it? Sam. All right, so you know what, Glenn? That's the way every guitar player learns to play lead guitar. Every guitar player learns by, there might be one guy in Cincinnati or in Manchester that learned another way, but everyone I've ever met, they'll all tell you the same thing. They grew up learning note for note every one of the guitar solos of their favorite guitar player. They learned the solo from Walk This Way. They learned the solo from Black Dog. They learned from
Stairway to Heaven.
Not Stairway to Heaven, but they learned the guitar solos note for note of every one of their stars. That's how, once they got those, they're able to take a little from this, a little from that, a little from that, and their own style emerges from being able to do everybody else's style. And I think that's wonderful advice. And I totally agree. RC?
I would say when we're talking about style, it's not so much copy as it is research, right? I'm a big fan of like photographic history, right? So I like looking at older pictures. I like looking at older photographers and things that have happened in the past. Not so much to copy, but just to kind of find out like what it is that they were doing, how they were working on things, what kinds of things. Like I was a big Bresson fan, and I like looked at a lot of that kind of stuff. And I would just kind of listen to what he was saying and think about like what brought him to make a picture. And then I'm like, all right, let me think about that. Let me kind of go out and try it and see if it works for me. So you're copying, but you're kind of just using most of that stuff. You're using history as inspiration. So for me,
can we go over to Brad, new up and coming guy, and ask that same question, Brad? Since we get a different. You weren't listening, so I'll restate it and then I'll pause and give you time to think. Okay. You just erased it, so I can't say it word for word, but.
What do you do to get style?
What do you do to create your own style? Like, what are some ideas,
Just shoot a lot, because the more you shoot, the more you'll figure out what you do like and what you don't like. And then once you've kind of built up a decent catalog of work, you can go back through it and see the little kind of bits and pieces from early on of this was already there and this is where I keep going toward, and just eventually your style will develop out of work.
Just if in doubt,
that's good advice.
He steals off Alan Hess.
And when in doubt, steal off Alan Hess. That's what I do.
One of the things that I think is funny about photography, like when you're thinking about it, is like if you go back to the guitar analogy, right? Like Chuck Berry became Chuck Berry by using the guitar to kind of mimic horn solos. Like a lot of the stuff that he did was he was trying to recreate trumpets and horns in guitars. So if you listen to that, it has like that kind of an influence. And when people do Chuck Berry, people are never like, oh my God, you're doing Chuck Berry. It's always considered to be almost kind of like a tip of the hat to Chuck Berry. When you do somebody, it's like a little tip of the hat. And it's like people hear and they're like, oh, look at that, there's a little tip of the hat. And somebody had just said that in the chat. T. Spearman too said emulated is a better word than steal. Or you try to emulate somebody and it's almost kind of like a little tip of the hat to that person for being an inspiration on that. So yeah, I would argue on that. Now, while I'm there, blatant thing, you should go take a look at KelbyOne.com/trailblazers. And I'm going to tell you that if you want to see some great inspiration and some conversation with some amazing women, if you're going down the inspiration trail, listen to the conversations that are happening here. Really, really good thing.
Yeah, we did a whole series. Now, we did the Trailblazers, which are like pioneering women in photography, and it's wonderful.
And then the inspiration.
And then we just did a regular inspiration series with just everybody.
Right.
And it's if you're a KelbyOne subscriber and you really want to get some real insight, I'm amazed at some of the stuff that people have shared on there. I mean,
Greg Heisler had this conversation.
You did one.
Mm-hmm. You did one.
Yep.
And it wasn't very inspirational, but what would you call it? Disappointing, embarrassing.
Wow.
No, it was great. It was wonderful. You were one of the first ones, weren't you?
I think I was the very first one.
You might have been the very first one, and the series is still going on, so you must have not done too badly. No, but we got a lot of comments from yours. I mean, you really struck a real chord with people. Go back and watch some of those, and you were going to.
I was going to say something on
Gregory
if you want to hear Gregory Heisler, they did an inspiration. Me and McCormick did a conversation with Gregory Heisler. I swear I'll go back and listen to that. So far, probably 15, 20 times. Because you'll always catch some small moment, and he had a perfect conversation right at the start of it where he talked about the difference between style versus technique. And he was just like, people talk about style, and he's like, when people talk about style, they're not really talking about style, they're talking about technique. Technique is one thing, style something, and I don't want to say anything else, but the way he breaks it down, you're like, wow, that was good. So anyway, just check that out. I think it'd be really good.
This is just an aside, just to give you behind the scenes. So why do we have all these inspirational classes, and why do we add all these business classes, and why do we add the Trailblazer series? Well, it's because at one point, we saw a number of comments coming in and go, you know what, you guys are like awesome at teaching Photoshop and at Lightroom and photography, but you don't ever cover the other part of it. And we all sat around in a content meeting and go, you know what, you're right, we're focused on the how. We don't do very much about the why. And so we set out intentionally to create this brand new series for business. So we have a lot of great business advice. We have then the inspirational series. And we went to some of the very, very best people in the business for each one of them. And Mia's Trailblazers series is just amazing. Like we had our guest on the grid here. Give me 1 second. Elsa Garrison. She is there's only 2 women in the world that shoot for Getty Sports. So Getty Sports is considered to be like the pinnacle of sports photography wire services. Like, they're phenomenal. And of course, the name Getty is huge. And you have to really, really be great to shoot for them. There's only 2 women in the world that do. One in New Zealand and Elsa. And go watch hers, Stacey Pearsall.
Oh my God, Stacey Pearsall.
Seriously, this is the kind of thing where you want to just like take some time on a weekend, really settle down, use your Apple TV, put it on the big screen, and just sit back and just listen to some of this stuff. I guarantee you will learn, like the type of questions that we're seeing here, it's that kind of stuff answered by some of the very best in the business. So I kind of got off track a little bit.
I'm gonna just get you off track just a little bit longer. Go to KelbyOne.com/trailblazers. One of the things that a lot of people don't know about it too, they're free.
The Trailblazers are free.
You can actually watch them. Just go click watch Trailblazers now, give us your email address, that's all we're asking for, and you can watch a ton of interviews for free. Inspiration.
It's definitely worth going to check out. So.
All right. Sorry, just.
All right, we have a bunch of questions, and I'm gonna try to get through them quickly, so you have to answer them as quickly as you can and use as few cuss words as possible. Deco asks, RC, who makes the cover on your MacBook Pro, the black cover?
You have one too. You can get them at the Apple Store. It's a company called Spec. So it's this company right here. Not a sponsor, just specproducts.com.
All right. Laura Markham asks, when Scott first started out, was there ever a time that he wanted to throw in the towel and do something else? Actually, there was a time where I did throw in the towel and did something else. When I first got into photography, this was back in the days of film, I hate to say I was obsessed with it, but all I wanted to do, live, eat, and breathe. My older brother, Jeff, one of the coolest guys in the world, is a very good photographer, and he got me excited about it and got me interested in it. He's the one that, I saw the images that he brought back from a trip to Europe, and I was just like, this is what I want to do, and this is my thing. And so he and I spent a lot of time traveling around the world, shooting more rolls of film than we should have. And I just got so obsessed with it, and I built a studio from scratch with all hot lights and one Sunpack bounce flash.
Wow.
And a Sunpack bounce flash. Sunpack, remember the name. Anyway, and one day, I was so sick of it all, I'm not kidding you, I took every piece of my gear and I packed it in my attic, and I didn't touch it for 12 years. I just completely stopped photography. I started using those disposable Kodak little click and take one picture, and that was it. And digital cameras came out, and I really didn't care. And one day I was at PMA in Orlando, Florida, and Nikon had introduced I think it was the 1D, or the D1, the D1, and it was a real DSLR that took digital pictures, and I held it in my hand, I took a few shots, and that completely reignited my passion for photography, and I've been doing it ever since. I couldn't afford a D1, so I went out and got a Coolpix 900, the one that swiveled.
Yeah!
That was my first one, but it got me back into it. So to answer your question, not only was there a time where I hung it up for literally 12 years. I mean, I took all my photography gear, my lights, didn't sell it, I just stuck it in the top of a closet.
Didn't someone just find your first camera and send it?
My first camera. You know what's weird is, I've been telling everybody it was a Pentax. My brother was at the house this weekend for Easter, and he goes, yeah, this is that old Minolta. And it was a Minolta.
Wow.
So that's not my first camera, that was my second camera. He gave me his Minolta. An SRT 101 or ST 101. RT 101? Don't know. Whatever it was. But yeah, I just assumed, it wasn't a Pentax, it was a Minolta. And that brings us to a break.
Nice.
But you know what? Let's let Glenn, you've seen the show before. Now, you saw what Dave did earlier.
Yeah.
I want you to take us out with some style.
Okay, guys, it's time for a break. We'll see you back here in a few moments.
Oh, like a boss! Like a
Say that love is easy, but they must have forgot you. We keep a better website at squarespace.com. Start your free trial today.
Get the world's best photography, lighting, and Photoshop training at Photoshop World. It's 3 non-stop days of real-world training where you can get personal attention and unlimited access to the world's top instructors in Photoshop and photography. When you attend, you'll have chances to experience hands-on live shoots and workshops. This is the must-attend conference for photographers and Photoshop users. Sign up today. Photoshop World, the world's best Photoshop and photography conference.
Bring us back in, bro. Bring us in.
And welcome back to The Grid with RC.
Hey, everybody.
Scott Kelby.
Howdy.
And Glyn Dewis.
Hey.
And me, Dave.
Wow, dude, you
That's
picked
pretty
up
good.
your game, bro. That was
good.
nicely done. Dude. All right. Hey, we have a bunch more questions. Just want to mention we got a new contest. We're doing a photography contest with ViewBug. You guys heard of ViewBug?
That's right.
So we're sharing your best work. Is simple. Just you're going to go to enter your image. And they're looking for landscape photos. You have to enter them before May 21st, so you have a little over a month for your chance to win some really awesome prizes. To enter, we're partnering with them. You can go to KelbyOne.com/viewbug. And I know one of the judges. It's me. Ah! And I can tell you right now, the kind of images that are going to win that I'm going to choose are absolutely pictures of Dave Clayton. So if you can get pictures of Dave, preferably candid, super candid, that'll win.
Nice.
I'll just tell you straight up.
Cool.
Really good picture of him. I'm in. There we go.
Perfect. Jaw-dropping
landscape photos.
Good,
Submit
good,
them
good.
right there by the 21st, and bango wango. We got some good stuff to give away.
Okay, so Leighton D says, I've been binging on Spartacus all week, and Glyn is speaking with such conviction. I need to find out how to increase coin. So what was your business aha moment that sparked a fire?
For me, deciding to shoot what I wanted to shoot rather than what everybody else wanted me to shoot. So the minute I started doing these projects and creating a portfolio of stuff that I wanted, then I started getting to the work that I wanted to have.
Can I tell you why that happened? Because when you started doing the stuff that you did, then you're doing your style. People that want your style go, oh, I want what that guy's doing. Because you have a very repeatable style, which I think is one of the keys to success. When I look at your work, if I were to hire you, I know exactly the kind of shot I'm going to get. So when I'm looking for that shot, you would be one of the top guys in the world that I would choose to get that look. But you got that look by doing what you wanted. This is what I do. Who wants to buy it? And a lot of people went, oh, I do.
So the aha moment. So what was your aha moment, Scott? From a business, it doesn't have to be photography, just from a business standpoint. Like what was, when you were taking a look and you're like, I can do this.
I had an aha moment during football. So I'd never shot football before. And I'm a football fan, all right? So I love football. And I can probably actually show you the picture that I took. I'm going to bring up a picture that it's going to take me a second to get it, but we'll illustrate this story. And I was invited to shoot a game by a friend of mine. It was Florida State Seminole, so it was a college football game. I'd never even shot a high school game. Didn't have any. Had to borrow a lens. I didn't have a long enough lens or anything. And it was a day game, so it was very lucky. He loaned me a 400 millimeter f2.8. And let me show you the shot here. Let me get it up here. Let me find it. And so for my very first game ever, let me get it open. And I got, of course, I don't have to mirror and do all that stuff that makes stuff happen. I'm going to my very favorite video control room, 2. And here's the shot. This is from my first football game ever. And it was in my portfolio for a long, long time. And if you look at it, it's not the sharpest shot I've ever taken. The ball is a little blurry. I didn't really, you can see that he's actually in the shade. Right? Look behind him, you can see the sun. So this is part of that day where the clouds, the sun moves to a side of the stadium where half the field's in, and I took this shot, and it was when I took this shot, I thought, you know what? I think I could do this. Like I saw that shot on the back and I'm like, yeah, that's and it was also when I realized the kind of style of football that I wanted to do. And so that was what kind of set me on this path to shoot sports photography, was that particular shot and that particular day. So I owe a big thank you to Mike Olivella, who is a sports photographer for Florida State University up in Tallahassee, and a really great guy, very talented guy. He is one of those guys that shares a lot. If he learns anything, he shares all the techniques and stuff. He's really great about it. But
his Astro stuff is incredible.
Oh yeah, I've heard he's like gotten into this shooting stars stuff.
So good.
But anyway, this is the shot. That was the whole thing. That was my moment, was when I took those shots and I didn't have any idea what I was doing, and I came back with a reasonable shot. It's like I kind of had a feel for it. Like, you know, you go do something, and I was like, you know, it's kind of, you know, Brad talked about this earlier about taking a bunch of shots and then all of a sudden one day you go, hey, you know.
Finding it there.
It was, I kind of found that, you know, I think I could do this. And then the next time I went out, I kind of had an idea of, I know the kind of shots I want to make now. I want to make more shots like this. And so I knew I had to have long lenses and all that kind of stuff. And the second game I shot was not very good, but thankfully I've gotten a little better.
Well, here's the thing. Let's just dovetail that. We'll put both of them together in that. So Fran Hughes said, do you ever get excited about a project and then get disappointed when the execution of the final results?
I got a horrendously bad story about that. Real quickly, I don't want to take too much time because we're already over, but I decided to do a personal project just for myself, and it was called Budget Bride. And I'll be able to show this photo. So the Budget Bride, where the idea was, everybody's doing these really expensive, super fancy weddings. I will do a very super budget wedding. I will do all these, and my wife helped me with it. She came up with some great ideas. Like, instead of doing these fancy, you know, obscene, just incredible receptions that cost $500,000, your reception is going to be at an ice cream truck in the middle of the street. Like, this pulls up, and there's the bride and the groom and the bridesmaids and the guests all waiting in line, and you're buying them an ice cream cone. Romantic?
Yeah.
Cute, right? Cute. Isn't that?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Okay, thanks. He's looking at me like, dude, that sucks. But I had all these ideas, like the bride and groom, instead of staying at the Four Seasons, they're staying at a roadside motel in the Midwest, and they're carrying their own bags to the room, and here's this little, you know, $14 a night hotel, but that's all they have. And so it was really about the romance of getting married and about being in love, not about this lavish show of that weddings have become. So I thought the idea was great. So Brad and I planned the very first shoot, which was going to kind of be that. We were going to go to this very old, inexpensive motel. We were going to set up a little table by the beach, and we were going to buy Chinese food. And the bride and groom, she would be in her dress, he'd be in his tux, and they would be sitting outside, and they'd have Chinese food and little tea lights that they bought at 7-Eleven. And we set the whole scene. Now the shoot was a disaster for a whole bunch of reasons. As soon as we set it up and got everything going, so like somebody flipped a switch, an amazing rainstorm came in, and it destroyed half of our equipment. That's a different story. But what happened was, when the shots were done, it didn't have the romance. It just looked like a wedding shoot. I didn't convey it very well, and I killed the series. I never even did the second shoot. I was just really disappointed. I realized that it's very, very hard when you have a bride in a wedding dress and a groom in a tux to make it look. Now, you could say you gave up too easily, but there were other experiences that happened on the shoot that were so bad. I'm going to look up the image here real quick and see if I can find it.
Okay, so
but
I
did one shoot from that.
While you're doing that, so Dave, it was from a business standpoint, like when you're working with this stuff. Have you ever had an aha moment where you're like, I can do this, or I can go in this direction, or I can go into business, or I can?
There was a point where, I mean, I left school and I've still got my school reports, and all it says, he was good at art, he was good at technical drawing, he was pretty much rubbish at everything else. So that's always been my background. But I left school and I did engineering for 9 years, and I did sales, and I was an on-the-road salesman, and I'd always been designing. And it was only when someone asked me to do something in Paint Shop Pro, and I was so pleased with what I did, and he was so pleased, and I just thought, this is what I want to do for a living. I want to be paid to do this. So then I got my first version of Photoshop, taught myself, joined NAP, and when I got my first I went for a marketing role and got hired on the work that I'd done, and been in marketing since. I'm a graphic designer in marketing, but it was just that moment when somebody just went, wow, and I just felt validated that I want to be paid to do this.
Ooh.
I had a...
Oh, go ahead, RC.
No, I have a really... mine is like completely like left field weird.
Okay, I want to show the Budget Bride shot. Here it is on my screen.
But see, I like that. That was cool.
See, I intentionally left like the price tag on the cheap, like the cheap champagne, right? It's like really cheap. You can't, you know, it's like... I don't know. It just
there's something there though. There's something there.
That's like the power lines. I don't know what's going on. Is this a cow? What is this over here?
That looks like a cherub.
Oh, it's a cherub. It's just kind of. You can see weird
it's
stuff.
Pointing its penis at.
I don't know. I just didn't like it. It just was very. I was very disappointed with how it came out. It's not like I envisioned it, because you have a vision in your head of how it's going to come out, and it just didn't look to me romantic or anything. It looks stiff and posed and stupid, and I just didn't like it. But there were so many other tragedies wrapped around this. In fact, we do a webcast just for KelbyOne members now. It's called Backstage Pass, and I told not so much this part. I actually did tell the terror part more. But can I tell you something then?
Sure.
Do you know what really got me? So I bought my first digital camera, right? And I wanted to go out shooting. And when you think about what I'm going to say, you're going to realize what a compliment this was. It actually came from my buddy Dave Moser, who works here. You know, he's our vice president of super brain stuff. Anyway, I went out and I took shots of a motorcycle. I just took these shots and I had them on my drive and I was working them and stuff. And he walks into my office. Now, if you knew Dave, you would know what Dave loves to do is when he walks in your office, he likes to come in your office and come straight behind your thing and see what you're working on. Hey, what are you working on? Like, what do you think I'm doing? Playing video games? What are you? I'm working. So anyway, but he comes and he goes, oh, what are you looking on? And he sees this shot of this close up of the edge of a motorcycle, and he goes, hey, where'd you get that? I said, well, I shot it. He goes, you took that? I said, yeah. He goes, you took that photograph. Do you realize what a great compliment that is? When someone says, look, I know you, there's no way you took that. That's really good.
Yeah.
And it kind of pushed me down the road. I was like, hey, because it was the most sincere compliment, because it wasn't just going, hey man, good shot.
Yeah.
It was somebody saying, this shot, there's no way you could have taken this shot. That's really good, and I know you, and you're not capable of taking this. But the fact that he said it really, it really pushed me. It made me go, yeah, I took that. I can freaking shoot. And then I wanted to go, I got to prove to this guy I can shoot. And it kind of, it sounds dumb, but it kind of propelled me down the road. But I think that is one of the greatest compliments you can get, is for someone to go, that shot is better than you are. And I've been trying to make that ever since.
But see, and that's the thing. So this is probably the last thing we talk about. Which is like, I had an aha moment, not so much in photography, but just kind of in a personal development. There's been my road's been kind of like this weird road that's done stuff.
You've had a fascinating life. I'll tell you that. Dude.
It's weird. It's
not a moment of your life has been boring.
And there was this one part where I owe a lot of being able to get up out of a really bad scenario to Tony Robbins, of all people, which is kind of weird, right? So I was in the process of a whole bunch of really just a bad part, and somebody had lent me these bootleg copies of, sorry Tony Robbins, but of this personal power thing, and I'm listening to this, and I'm listening to this thing in the car, and most of it I thought was rubbish, but there was this one part where I was like, I thought if anything he was a great coach, and I was in debt. It was horrible, and it was a bad scenario. And I was listening to him, and he's talking about this kind of what's called an RPM plan, or he called it an RPM, results-driven, multi-purpose, something massively, something plan. And he was just like, you need to put yourself, and I remember he's like, you need to put yourself in a scenario, and I'm listening to it, I'm pulled over on the side of the road. He's like, you need to put yourself in a scenario where you're just over your head. You need to just do something drastic, do something bold, do something this, and but make a plan and set it up and do this kind of stuff. And I was horribly in debt. And a creditor called up and was like, you owe us this amount of money. And I'm like, oh yeah, I owe you this amount of money? You know what? I'm gonna give you guys $5,000 in 30 days. They're like, wow, you gave us $5,000? And I'm like, that's right. I'm gonna give you $5,000 in 30 days. Click. And I sat there and I was like, what the hell did I just do? I just told these people.
You did something big and bold.
I did something big and bold, and then I sat there and I literally put out pages in my car. I still remember it's a green Mazda that I had, and I put out all these pages in front of me, and I was like, how am I gonna get $5,000 in 30 days? And I was like, well, I know computers and I know this. I was unemployed. Well, that's a different time. I was unemployed and I had all these sheets of paper, and I was like, all right, I know computers and I know this and I know this, and I spent a lot of time in photography studios. What if I taught them how to be able to work with digital, from film to digital, because they were doing that transition at that point in time. And I was like, I can do that, and then I can do this Photoshop thing that I do, and I created a little business. And I hustled, and I went back and forth across the island and into the city, and I drove around all these things, and then I made $5,000 in 30 days. And then they called up and I was like, thank you very much for the $5,000 payment. And I was like, and furthermore, I'm gonna give you guys $7,000 in another 30 days. And I hung up the phone and I'm like, what's wrong with me? And I did it, and I paid like the better part of 12, and it was nowhere near the amount. But I paid all of this money in a really short amount of time. And for me, I was like, in order for, if you really want something, you gotta just put yourself in the middle of it. Like, don't pay $12,000 for something. But like, if you want it, like if you want photography, if you want a career, if you want a business, like you need to just sit down in the middle of it, invest, research, plan, look, work. All of this stuff happens through work. Like, people don't know about it. I don't mean to like get all sermon on it, but at like 1 o'clock in the morning, I'll turn around and be like, you know what? You know what's a great idea? I think this is a great idea. And I'll send an email to Scott, be like, Scott, hey man, what do you think about an idea? It's 1:30, I'll get an email back. Yep, that's a pretty good idea. It doesn't happen because
Can you stop emailing me late at night?
I'm trying to sleep.
I'm like, sleep, bing, RC.
But it's just one of those things. That was my aha moment. My aha moment was, no matter how bad you put yourself in a situation, work, just pure, unadulterated work will get you out of it.
I listened to a Tony Robbins CD once, and it was called RCO's $12,000, and he's never paying it back. And it motivated me. All right, we had some really great stuff. Hey, I'm just going to answer just 5 seconds. JMHS Photo that asked a great question about Glenn. Can you tell us about Glenn's new class? Glenn, tell us about your new class, bro.
Well, it's 2 classes. The first class is all about photographing. It's going to be called Photographing the Muscular Sports Physique. So the first day we were here, we went to on location to a boxing gym in the Tampa Bay area. Photographed 2 great guys, 2 real fighters, and we photographed them in the actual boxing ring, did some physique work with them, portrait work. So it's basically showing how you can photograph those kind of guys with those kind of physiques doing action stuff on location in the gym. We're using multiple setups and getting the most from each setup.
Oh,
so that's the first one. And also, it's not just about the photography. There's lots of tips and tricks that I bring from my past history as a bodybuilder that shows how to make the physiques look their best in the camera. Loads of tricks like breathing tricks and little things you can do with deodorant sticks and powder and loads of things like that. So it sounds kind of strange. Huh?
I know all those tricks from my day as a Chippendale dancer, so go ahead.
Absolutely. But then the second class is the retouching class, which covers going through those images. And the idea is in the actual class, which is only going to be like an hour long, but I think we retouched 6 images. So it's to show that if you spend the time on the location, know all these tricks, really the retouching should be minimal to get them to exactly how you look. So that's just it's a class with 2 parts to it.
Very good. Dade Freeman.
Oh, Dade.
Dade Freeman asks, what's your next big thing?
Well, the next big, I've got 2 things ongoing. There's the animals project I'm working on. That's going to be, I want to do my first ever exhibition maybe in about sort of 6 months' time. But the big thing I'm working on, again, is to do with kickboxing. There's a guy I'm working with back in the UK, and rather than taking pictures of him, we're also doing like a documentary. He's going for world title this year. So we're documenting in him training, his home life. We're doing video, photos, putting it all together to then create a documentary once he gets his world title, because he will.
Now, if he's afraid that he may not get his world title, we have a CD we want him to listen to.
Okay.
From Tony Robbins. Anyway, hey, we've so run out. We're so over time. So first, I want to thank our guests, Dave Clayton, the wonderful Dave Clayton, our good buddy, and just one of the greatest guys, as Glenn will tell you, because they're friends. And I like to think,
it was down to
I
you.
brought these guys together. I like to think that it was one day in London, crappy rainy day, which is hard to find in London.
Well, it's any day in
But
London.
we found one. And the 3 of us went out shooting, and the crappiest weather you've ever seen.
And 2 of them took good photographs.
So Dave and Glenn took good photographs. And anyway, we all just became Hey, Brad asked, so you shot a quick video today about your trip. Can you show it real quick to end the show? Our contest. RC, tell them about the contest, because we've got multiple things to win today. We've got
Glyn's book.
All you got to do is go to KelbyOne.com/contest and put in your name, put in your email address, put in your website. Tell us what you want. Tell us what you want to see. Tell us what you don't want to see, and leave us a feedback. You're going to win Jay Mazel's massively inspirational book. It's not about the f-stop. Guys, go get it. If you
yeah, I tell you what,
just go
when
get
it comes to
It's
F-words,
so
he
good.
really has got them down.
Oh God, this is such a good book.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, you're gonna win that. You're also gonna win. You're gonna win tickets for the seminar tour.
Wait.
Of whatever it is. Make sure you go to KelbyOne.com/live. It's gonna be Salt Lake City or Los Angeles.
Either one. Your choice.
Your choice.
Glyn's book.
And here
you're
we go.
gonna win Glyn's book.
book.
Glyn's book. So where's Glyn's book?
They've taken it.
They took it already. So Glyn's book, we're going to win that as well.
What
And then you're also going to win a copy of
HDR
the
book.
HDR book. So, yeah.
Yeah.
You know what it is? It's wild. Like I'm very grateful for it. Like I think it's an awesome book. I think it's a book that really teaches you everything. It is. It's just I still look at it and go, dude, I wrote a book. This is pretty cool. So anyway,
I designed a book cover. True story.
All right. All right, we're gonna watch. So you made a little video about your trip here. It's just very short, very short. Can we check it out?
I did get on the wrong side of the car though.
Yeah,
This is pretty.
Yeah. You got on the British side of the car.
Hey everybody, Glyn here. Final day over in Tampa. We've been here for 3 days now. I think we're doing the KelbyOne studios and filming the classes. You may have seen some of the stuff online. But before we head off, just been to the Super Target, as you do when you come over here. So now we're going to head over to the KelbyOne studios for the final time. And then it's doing the grid later on today. And then head on down to Stuart's, go and see some friends down there. So get in, shut up, just do as you're told. Shut up. And then, yeah, it's been a great few days. Weather's been fantastic. So we'll head off, get the grid done. We'll see you online.
I wondered why you went to the other side of the car.
I know.
I'm like,
it's a UK.
That's kind of odd, freaky. Hey, just want to mention that that this show is on Roku, right?
That's right. That's right.
We actually have a Roku channel.
Yeah, you can go to, so right now you can see a bunch of different things. You could see us on YouTube. You could see us on the KelbyOne page. You could see us on Kelby TV. You could see us now on Roku. All you got to do is just go to your Roku and put in the keyword KelbyOne.
It's time to take us out, but I was using a crunch tone on this earlier. This is kind of a crunch tone, like. I think it's time to bring out the metal for the last version. Hold on, we go to the amp. We're gonna go to metal.
Ford Mustang and Target, America.
All right, America. So now we're at.
Anyway, thank you so much for Mr. Scott Kelby.
Here we go. We should do the chorus.
Okay. 5, 6, 7, 8.
It doesn't start. Never. The song never starts with 5, 6, 7, 8.
It does when you dance to it.
Should I stay or should I go now?
Should I stay or should I go now? If I go, there will be trouble. If we stay.